stop debugging C++ with print statements.
This video is sponsored by me. We are an entity that specializes in cross-platform software and embedded UIs, and we practically build and teach you how to build software that runs anywhere using a Qt and a bunch of other embedded UI frameworks. If you are interested in any of that, you can check out our courses and books. We also periodically publish a bunch of discounts that you may find useful. If you are interested on this, you can check out the link in the description below. And while there, you can also grab a copy of this dashboard book, which is going to show you how to build this kind of dashboard using Qt, C++, Python, QML, basically any other technology that Qt supports. Again, if interested, do check the link that I provide below. Now, back to the video.
I would like to welcome you to this video. In this one, we are going to talk about locals, watches, and I am going to show you that it is actually possible to change values live as you debug your application here. For example, if you have an expense tracker application, you can go inside and say expenses equals 100 if that is going to help you debug something in your application. I just want you to be aware of this possibility here. The program we are about to debug is scenario 2, so let's open it and make sure that you see the thing before we even tear it apart and see what is going on inside. We have a wrapper namespace, which is an anonymous namespace here. We have a class or a struct, which is a player, and inside we will have attributes for any player. So we have a name, the health, position X, position Y, and this thing that we have here. We have a function which is going to be giving us information about our player. And you can see that it is going to be using std format, which is something we get in C++23 to format a string however we see fit. If you want to get more information about this, you can say std format in Google, and we should have a CPP reference entry on this, and you will see more information on this thing here. So the first placeholder is going to take p name. It is going to take the name of the player, and we will put in the position in these parentheses. You can see that the first one is going to be position X. The second one is going to be position Y in this location here. Then we will take the health and put that in this placeholder. Mana is going to go in here, and the critical condition is going to go in here. And we are going to just return this string for use by whoever happens to call this function here. We also have our main function, which is going to be doing everything here. So we create a player object and put in these member variables, if I can call them like that. We will create a collection, which is a vector. And here I want you to see that we can set up a collection that can change the size dynamically. Again, this is an excuse to show you how you can walk through this thing using a debugger. We are going to print a checkpoint. So the point is that I am going to set up a breakpoint at this location. Then we will notice and see things that are in scope in this function here. By the time we hit this function, this is going to be at the top of our call stack. And we should be able to investigate the variables that are inside this player object here. This is what we are going for. We create a critical variable, and it is going to store whether our health is less than 30. If it is less than 30, it is going to be critical. If it's not less than 30, it is not going to be critical. And we will print this information here. Again, notice that we call status line, which is the function that we have here, which is going to return a string. Then we are going to be printing that string using std.println as we have here. We are going to modify a variable at runtime and see what happens inside this player. Then we are going to add something to our collection that we defined on top here. Again, we are going to see this thing happening at runtime. Then we will print checkpoint B and print some information in our variables here. Now that you know this is what we are about to do. So we are going to be investigating locals, watches, and changing values at runtime. We will set up a breakpoint at this location. We will start debugging and choose 2 as the option to run this scenario. And then we are going to try and debug. If you want, you can follow these instructions here. But for me, it is just easier to show you these things as we go. So what I am going to do is go to checkpoint A, and I am going to set up a breakpoint at this location. Again, I can set up a breakpoint by clicking here. If I don't want it, I can click again to make it go away. But I can also go to debug and set a breakpoint at this location. If I do that, the breakpoint is going to come. No, it's not at this location. So we should select that location, and we are going to say debug and set a breakpoint, and we will put at the line where we want to put it. I don't know why this is not working exactly as I want. Let's give this one more chance. So we go to debug and set a breakpoint. Now it is going to go to line 42, which is exactly what we want here. Now that we have this, we can start debugging by hitting F5 as you see here. So this is the shortcut for starting debugging. So if I am anywhere in my file here, I can press F5 and I will start debugging. You can see that my terminal is here and it is expecting me to key in the number of the scenario. We want to do locals, watches, and expressions view. So I am going to key in 2 here. And if I hit enter, we should hit our breakpoint. So what you should be looking at now is the call stack. Make sure you see that run variables watches is at the top, and our breakpoint is currently inside this function at line 42. And you should look in the locals to see the variables that you can mess with, if I can say it like that. So if you look here, you see that we have inventory, which is a vector. A vector is a collection that can grow or shrink at runtime. Again, if you want to learn more, you can use the reference documentation, but I'm not going to go there. All I am going to show you is that you can expand this and you will see information inside our collection here. You can see that we have a sword, shield, position, and map, and it is exactly the same data that we have in this collection here. It is a collection of std strings. That's why you can see the information here, and you can expand each string and get to see the data inside. You see that this is pretty cool. You can do these things here. Another thing you can do is look at the local variables. I think we have the player object and it has information inside. So if we go to player and expand, you can see that we have a health variable. The value for that is 42. It is what our program is putting in. But notice and understand that what we have in locals is the thing that we have at the time when our program is running. So this is in our code, but this is in the copy of the program that is running at this point right now. You should really understand these differences here. You can see that name is area and we have position X and position Y, and it is the exact same thing here. Now what we can do is step through this program. So we can hit F10 to step over, and if we do that, you see that it is going to print checkpoint A. You can see that down here. And now we are about to print whether the thing is critical. So it is going to check whether the health is less than 30. If it is going to be critical. If it's not going to be critical. So what I can do is a step over, and the value for is critical is going to be false because 42, which is our current health, is not less than 30. Another thing you can do that I want you to see is to set up expressions. So what we can do here is right click on inventory, for example, and say add expression evaluator for inventory. And if I do that, you notice that this section on expression is going to have a new entry, and we will have our inventory here. It seems that it is the same thing that we have in locals, but expressions are going to survive a function scope. So even if we get out of this function here, we will still see the information. So this is something cool you can do if you want to set up a test that is going to be surviving function scopes. You may need this kind of thing, and it is a way you can do that here. Another way you can add things to the expressions window is by double clicking. If you do that, you will have a window or a dialog to add something, and anything you have in scope in our breakpoint here, you can investigate it. For example, because we have our player variable, we can say player name. And if we do that, player name is going to show up, and you can see that we can investigate it. Another thing we can do is look at our collection. This is a bit interesting. So what we can do is add another expression evaluator, which is going to be looking at the size of our vector. So we can say, what is the name of the vector? It is inventory. So we can say inventory size. You can see that I have done this before. And we are going to be looking at the size of this vector. Another thing I want you to see is that it is even possible to change values at runtime. So what I am going to do is change the health of our player at runtime and change it to be a 5, for example. So I am going to key in a 5 and hit enter. Now the health is going to be 5. And if I go in our function and step over again, I think we have a point where we are going to be looking at the criticality of our player. Now it should say that the condition is critical because the health now is less than 30, but this is something we changed at runtime. I really want you to be able to see these things here. So now that we have this set up, I am going to hit F5 and see what is happening here. We are about to change mana here and subtract a 5. Currently, mana for the player is 15. So if we do that, it should become 10. And you see that right now it is 10. If we look at inventory, we're not going to see anything because inventory hasn't changed. But now we are about to change it by adding a new entry. So pushback is going to add something to our vector. And now it should have 5 items. Notice that if we do that, the size for this vector is going to become 5. So this is going to say 5 items. If you go inside, you should see things from 0 all the way to 4. Right now, it is 0 all the way to 3. So let's come back here and hit F10. If we do that, the size is going to change to 5. If we go inside, the last item is at index 4. You can see that. And our expressions evaluator is also going to show that the size is 5 because we are watching this thing as we go down here. This is pretty cool. So we are at line 51. If we execute that, we should print the information about checkpoint B. And now we are going to check the criticality because we changed the value in memory to be a 5. Now it should say that the condition is critical, and now it is saying that it is true. You can see that right here. So if we print the information, it is going to say that the condition is critical to our player. So let's hit F10 and see that you see that it is going to say true. It was false before, but we changed our value back to a 5, and now it is critical. You can see all these things here. Now I am going to print information about our size, and you see that it is saying that inventory now has 5 items, and we can see all this information in our debugger. This is pretty cool. Now we are about to get out of this function, and if we do that, you should notice that it is going to be popped off the stack here. Right now at the top, we have run variable watches, and I am going to debug and step out. And if we do that, now main is at the top of the stack, and we just run the run function in our loop here. Now, if we keep stepping over, let's try to practice that. We are going to break out of the loop and we are going to go outside the loop. You see that we finished our loop here. We are going to check if we are found, and we are not found there. So we are going to run the loop one more time. And if we go inside, we are going to print the menu again. You see that we just print it, and I can just decide to get out of the application here because we are done with whatever it is we wanted to do here. So let's try and step over again. So let's hit F10, and now we come here. We should be able to put in a 0. So can we get a 0 here? Somehow this is hanging. So I am just going to kill my debugging session because I don't want to fight this. The point is that now we can work with locals, watches, and changing values at runtime. And the watches window is the thing we saw where we could set up expression evaluators. So I am going to try and start the debugging session again. I am going to key in a 2 so that we hit our breakpoint. And if we do that, you see that our expressions are still in here. And we can follow along and do whatever it is we want to do. This is really all I had to share in this video. If you want more information, you can read through the instructions I put in the README file of this project. For now, I am going to stop here, and I will see you next time.